What is the difference between a flyer and a product spec sheet? To the untrained eye, it seems the same. Both are printed on often a piece of paper. It could be front only or both sides, front and back, and it's distributed to the potential customers. But what are the differences? The differences are subtle. First, let us look at the intention. The purpose of a product spec sheet is to give out technical information of that particular product or service. A flyer, however, is meant to paint a more rosy, what could be picture. It gives an idea of the advantages and benefits of that product or service. It may have a little bit of copy explaining a pain point or pointing out a pain point. I have with me a set of flyer and product spec sheet. Although from different industries, it basically illustrates my point. This is a flyer for a residential property. This, on the other hand, is a spec sheet for a car manufacturer. Both target end users, consumers, or individual buyers rather than business buyers. The purpose is different. Even from the layout, you can see the idea, the impression that one tries to paint is different from the other. No doubt the flyer for the Proton X70 would be slightly different. It would look almost like this V Residence flyer. So notice that here on the Proton X70, there are more technical information on both front and the back page, whereas the flyer has some technical information, but mostly shows what could be, especially graphically, what the building would look like upon completion. What is the artist's impression of the particular unit that you could potentially buy? What is the lifestyle like when you're swimming? And here, for the X70, it's purely data in facts, data and facts, not the what could be. A flyer can be distributed out to consumers, and they can go through it and decide whether they'd like to inquire more or not. Whereas a spec sheet needs the presence of a sales representative to explain and illustrate what the different technicalities mean, especially to a lay person. Can they both be used together? Yes. As I mentioned earlier on, Proton has its own X70 flyer and brochure. It explains the technical side of the vehicle and how it benefits the owner in terms of safety, in terms of handling, petrol consumption, and so on. So which one should you use? It depends on your strategy. It depends on where the two different marketing collaterals can be used. Are you handing it out at a mall or an exhibition? Then the flyer would be useful. Will you have someone there to explain the technicalities into layman's terms, to translate these features into advantages and benefits? Then you use the product spec sheet. The costs are relatively the same. It's more or less the same item, but the function is different. And the way to measure, obviously, would differ from one another. The spec sheet would usually be tied to a sales representative. Let me give you an example. Here, there's space for the customer or the client to call in the sales representative. Whereas a flyer, it could be, you may include a link to a website which you can track and analyze how many visitors are there per day, or a certain phone number, or how many people brought that flyer to the shop to redeem, say, a free gift, a discount, and so on. So these are two different items which you can consider for your small business, your medium business, your local business. Thank you very much for watching.